Here is your full, long, emotional 40-minute style YouTube story, smooth pacing, deep emotion, and strong message at the end. No headings, only flowing paragraphs. The cold night wind slipped through the cracks of the old convenience store door as a young woman stood inside trembling, not because of the weather, but because of what she was about to do. Her eyes darted around nervously, resting on the dusty cameras in the corners, the cashier busy on a call, and then down to the small can of baby formula she was trying to hide beneath her torn coat. Her baby's hungry cry still echoed in her ears from the shelter she had just left. The story begins here, right in the moment when desperation, fear, and a mother's love collide, and if you're feeling this already, trust me, you'll want to stay till the end. And before we move forward, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because stories like this deserve to be heard by every heart. Her name was Alina. Once, she had dreams, a home, and even a small job at a cafe she loved. But life doesn't always play fair. Her husband had fallen sick, the medical bills swallowed their savings, and when he passed away, grief left her floating with no land in sight. With a newborn in her arms and no family to turn to, she slipped into homelessness faster than she could understand. Tonight was the third night her baby had cried without proper milk. The free supplies at the shelter had run out, and the social worker promised more, maybe next week. She knew her baby didn't have a week. She took a shaky breath and slowly moved toward the exit. The formula was pressed against her chest under her coat. She knew it was wrong. Every step felt like stepping deeper into a hole she wouldn't climb out of. She reached the door, heart hammering so loudly she thought it might burst. And then, a firm voice behind her stopped everything. "Excuse me, miss. Can you please open your coat?" Her whole world collapsed. She froze, knees weakening. Her mind screamed, "Run!" But her body refused to move. Slowly, she turned around. Standing there was a tall man in a long black coat, his expression unreadable but his eyes sharp. His hand gently pointed toward her coat, not forcefully, not violently, but enough to make her feel seen, caught, defeated. Alina swallowed hard. "Please," she whispered. "My baby, he hasn't eaten properly in 2 days." The man didn't move for a moment. There was something familiar about his face but she couldn't place it. She opened her coat reluctantly. The small can fell onto the floor with a soft clatter that felt louder than thunder. The cashier noticed and rushed toward them shouting, "Security! She's stealing!" Alina began crying, shaking her head, holding her hands up. Please, sir, let me explain. I'll work, I'll do anything. My son," her voice cracked, breaking the last pieces of dignity she had left. But the man lifted his hand calmly toward the cashier. "It's fine," he said with authority that instantly silenced the chaos. "I'll handle this." The cashier blinked, confused. "But sir," I said, "I'll handle it." His tone left no space for argument. The man then bent down, picked up the formula, and looked at Alina carefully. There was something soft in his eyes now. Not pity, but memory. "Alina, right." She froze. Her tears stopped mid-fall. Her breath caught in her throat. How did he know her name? She looked up properly this time. His face, his eyes, his voice. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Marcus." He nodded slowly. And suddenly she remembered. Years ago, she had met him at the cafe where she worked. Back then, he was just a stressed-out young man who always came in with messy folders, sleepless eyes, and small tip money. He talked about a dream, starting his own company but having no support. One rainy night, she had given him a free cup of hot coffee when he couldn't afford one. Another time, she slipped him sandwiches when she knew he hadn't eaten all day. She used to save leftover muffins for him even though the manager disapproved. To her, he was just a good man trying his best. Marcus stared at her now, stunned. When he met her years ago, she was full of life, laughing, helping people, always kind. And now here she was, homeless, carrying the weight of the world alone. "Come with me," Marcus said quietly. Alina immediately stepped back. "No, please don't call the police. My baby needs me. I can't go to jail." "I'm not calling the police," Marcus replied gently. "I want to help." She didn't believe him at first. Why would a powerful man help someone like her? She didn't know he had become a CEO, that his company had grown into one of the biggest tech firms in the city. She didn't know that he had never forgotten the kindness she showed him when he had nothing. Marcus guided her outside, and the icy air hit them both. He walked her to his car, a sleek black SUV, and for the first time in many days, she felt warmth when she stepped inside. He handed her a bottle of water and a blanket. "Where is your baby?" he asked. "At the shelter," she whispered, embarrassed. "Then let's go." They drove through the city, and for a moment, she allowed herself to hope. At the shelter, her baby boy, Liam, was crying weakly in the arms of a volunteer. When she held him close, Marcus saw the exhaustion in her face. Her hands shook from hunger as much as emotion. He quietly handed her the formula. She mixed it quickly and fed Liam. Watching her baby finally eat after days of suffering made her tears spill endlessly. Marcus stepped aside, giving her space, but he couldn't stop watching the scene. Something inside him tightened, a mixture of anger, guilt, and determination. Anger that life had been so cruel to her. Guilt that he, who had been helped by her, had no idea she had fallen so low. And determination that he would not let her stay here another night. When Liam finally fell asleep, Alina wiped her tears and turned to Marcus. "Why are you helping me?" she asked softly. He looked at her for a long moment before speaking. "Because once, you helped me when no one else did. And I never forgot." She tried to protest. "That was nothing. You needed food. I just gave you what I could." "It wasn't nothing," Marcus said firmly. "It pushed me through some of the hardest weeks of my life. And now it's my turn." He made a decision right then. A life-changing one. "Alina, would you be willing to work for me?" he asked. Her eyes widened. "Work? Marcus, I'm a mess. I have no home, no clean clothes, nothing." "You have potential," he replied. "And heart. And I trust you." That night, he checked her and Liam into a safe women's hotel, paid for a month up front, bought them clothes, toiletries, and essentials. It felt unreal to her. The room had a warm bed, soft lights, and a bathroom of their own, things she hadn't had in months. As she stood there holding her baby, she broke down crying again, but this time it wasn't from fear or hunger, it was relief. Over the next few weeks, Marcus helped her get back on her feet. He hired her as an assistant in his office, trained her personally, and supported her childcare needs. Alina worked harder than anyone else, grateful and determined. Slowly, she regained her confidence. Her smile returned. She saved money, paid off old debts, and even found small joys again, like reading to Liam, eating warm meals, and waking up without fear. Marcus watched her transformation with admiration. Her strength amazed him, and every time he saw her carry her son with so much love, he remembered why he believed in her from the start. Months passed, and one day, in front of the entire staff, Marcus promoted her to office manager. The room erupted in applause, but Alina could only cover her mouth in shock. Tears streamed down her face as she thanked him, her voice trembling. She remembered the night she thought her life was over, the night Marcus caught her stealing formula, and how that moment became the turning point. At the end of the year, Marcus organized a charity program for single mothers struggling with homelessness. When he invited Alina to speak at the event, she hesitated, but eventually agreed. Standing on the stage, holding Liam in her arms, she addressed the audience with a shaky voice. "I once thought the world had forgotten me," she said. "But sometimes, all it takes is one person who refuses to give up on you. One act of kindness can save a life, just like Marcus saved mine, just like I once helped him without knowing what it would become." The audience wiped tears from their eyes. Marcus stood behind her proudly, knowing this moment was more powerful than any business victory.